about the feedback, I found that vital to improving. The feedback that I found critical for success for me was after events is going out into the field and talking to people that were in the field, working with contractors, working with the vendors, working with our people, all of that. Talking to them about how did the logistics go? Was the food good? Was there enough food? Did you have water? How was the sleeping arrangement? I know I can't give you everything you want, but did we pass? The field folks to me were the key to that. And it was when you sit down with them over a cup of coffee or a meal and talk about it, they'll usually open up trying to send out, and I did this, and you get some feedback that was very good when you send out some type of electronic feedback or paper feedback, you get some good feedback. But sitting down face to face, I found that I got much better feedback and could sit there and question what they meant. So anyway, something to look at there. And talking about vendors, the big thing with vendors is how well do you know your vendors, and how well do they know you? Not just, hey, I know this company, I've known them, but how do you know them? You need to be in lockstep, in my opinion, with your vendor, that they understand you, they understand your needs, they understand your sites, all that. The other thing is you need to understand not just their equipment, their experience, their successes, but what kind of people are they? Are they people that's going to listen to you, make changes, work with you so that you have a relationship that will help both of you in the future? Or, just because they're cheap doesn't mean it's going to be good. And just because they're expensive doesn't mean they're going to be good either. But you've got to have a relationship that, hey, I need to make this change, and they make it, and they say, hey, I'm working with you. You didn't use this, so I'll work the prices and make it fair for both of us, because they know in the future you're going to stick with them. But at the same time, working with them, you learn each other in the processes. So to me, you've got to really vet those vendors and find out who cares about your success and cares about your people. There are good vendors out there, some extremely good, so that you can understand each other. You've got to set up a vetting process. And when I say a vetting process, not just for you, but your team, in my opinion, I needed more than one set of eyes on this vendor. Sometimes it's a personality thing. If I have 2 or 3 people working with that vendor and knowing them and giving me feedback, I feel better about the overall. Yeah, that's a good vendor. We'll stick with them. Just because somebody over here doesn't like them, I can't let that get in the way of doing the job and doing it right. So in my opinion, I like having a team of folks vetting them. The other thing is knowing what your vendor can't do. So many times we look at what do they have, what can they do, but what they can't do. In your plan, you may have something that calls for a certain type of equipment or a certain service. If you need to know, can they do that? And that's why you've got to work with them on your plans and putting your plans together. They need to know your plans. The other thing is on vendors. We referenced a few minutes ago talking about that site, Tom. We were showing that site layout. That was showing sleeper trailers, the long trailers. There are vendors that don't have those. They have a smaller trailer. So in other words, if I had that site and I work with 2, 3, 4 vendors, whatever, I never know which vendor that I may be able to get or not get. So I want each vendor to look at that site and work with them on their equipment so that their equipment fits that site, because one plan may not work for the other vendor. So it goes way beyond just having a site, way beyond knowing that site. It's got to